All right. Good morning. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to our web masterclass. In this class, we are learning the practical skills to build websites, to put websites online, to manage servers, register domains, renew domains, and configure email servers. This is a major practical lesson that you need to acquire, and it is going to go a long way to prepare you for greater things ahead in future, to be able to learn important tech skills and advance. So I'm very excited to be here this morning, and this particular training is not going to be a one-way training. Sometimes the teacher just gives a lot of information and gives information and gives information. Good morning, Jael. Good morning, Joanne. Good morning, Carl, and everybody. And sometimes we may feel everything is okay, all right? But the reason we are gathered here is not to hear what the teacher knows, but we are here to make sure the students get the information. So the best way to ensure that the training is going on well is to get feedback from you, is to allow you to show us what you have learned, what you know, and what you are doing. Today, we'll continue with web hosting, and tomorrow, what we are going to do is to learn HTML and CSS and allow you to build a simple web page or a few web pages with HTML and CSS. And after that, you are going to put the website you create, the simple website you create, on your hosting account for the whole world to see. So all of us will be able to see the work you have done. So today we will conclude the part of the web hosting training, and we will log on to a cPanel and what is called WHM, and we will look at the tools in the control panel. All right. And so moving forward, we are going to be taking more information from you. So make sure you are following, make sure you are learning, make sure you are understanding. And please, if you don't understand anything, we've told you 1,000 times already, please ask questions. Whatever is not clear, make sure you ask. Yesterday, I was having a meeting, and the person told me that one of the problems he has seen with students, especially beginners, is that sometimes they are afraid to say what they don't understand because they feel that their friends will look down on them. Their friends will think they are not smart, or why don't they understand simple things. But please, you have to get over that. We are not here for that. We are here to make sure you understand. And trust me, what you don't understand, others don't understand. And you have to gather the courage to ask for everybody. All right. So please ask and make sure you learn. Please. You are in the midst of a lot of experience. You are in the midst of a lot of knowledge, and you have the privilege to gather for yourself. So please do that and get that knowledge for yourself. Now, I'm going to get into my slides. Let me just share what I have, and we will get right into the lesson. And I believe I'm audible and you can hear me. I believe I'm audible. All right. So welcome, Marianne. Welcome, Dominic. Welcome, Benedine, Jael, everybody. Let's get right into the lesson. All right. So welcome to day 6 of our webmaster training. We are still on the module of web hosting, module 2. And in this module, we are learning how to host websites, how to put websites online, how to manage web servers, and how to control a website through the tool called Control Panel. Today, we'll be looking at what the WHM is about. We'll be looking at what the cPanel is about, and we will get onto the cPanel. We'll be looking at other tools and protocols that are used to manage websites on the server, and we will do some simple server and database management today. Now, for over 3 decades now, companies providing web hosting services have been the reason we are able to go online. Right now, millions of new gadgets, devices, and things are connecting to the internet every day. More devices now than there are people. Think about that. Think about the data centers they provide and the thousands of web servers that fill each one of them. These web servers are super powerful computers that connect to other data centers and web servers across the globe. When people think that they are surfing the internet, they are actually exchanging messages with one of these web servers. These web servers form the cloud. They carry all the websites and multimedia files in the world. They provide file servers, database servers, email servers with over 99.9% uptime guarantee, and most of the time with 0% downtime. Altogether, setting the stage for the professionals known as webmasters. In this training, we are learning to become webmasters. Yesterday, we watched a video about Cloudflare, and Cloudflare was telling you that you are a webmaster. And through the use of other webmasters around the globe, we have been able to create the fastest pipes to power your website. In this particular lesson, we are going to learn all we need to know to manage web servers, manage databases, manage email servers, understand domains, build web applications and web pages, and put up websites online. This is a fantastic training. This is a practical training, and this is a training that is going to make a huge difference in your career. Make sure you understand everything, make sure you follow through, and make sure you gather a lot of knowledge from this training. As usual, my name is Darlington, and I'm going to be your instructor for today. When you stop learning, you stop growing. When you stop learning, you stop growing. So the key is not to stop learning. You have to keep on learning. When you complete one course, you have to keep on learning. When you complete one degree, you have to keep on learning. You don't stop learning because the day you stop learning, you start dying. When you stop learning, you stop growing. What you have to do is to keep on growing. What you have to do is to keep on learning, keep on advancing, keep on upgrading, because there is a better version of you in the future. There is a better version of you that has a purpose to impact this world. And for you to get to that version of you, you have to keep on learning and you have to keep on growing. I will keep on learning. I don't know about you. If you will keep on learning, please put it in the chat that I will keep on learning. I will keep on learning. I will keep on learning. Let me see someone who wants to keep on learning. Yeah, I won't stop learning. I will keep on learning. Thank you so much. Please keep on learning. Keep on learning. Keep on learning. Learn each and every day. Learn new things. Learn and be better. Learn and grow. Learn and advance. Learn and make progress. Learn and be better. The next thing I'm going to tell you is that I've been sent to tell you specifically that you need to start an IT company. Listen to me. You are supposed to own a tech company. You are not here by chance. You are not here by mistake. You are not here by coincidence. You are here to hear this one message from me. You are going to start an IT company. You are going to own an IT company. Please start an IT company. Find the perfect name, register the name, and start business, start an IT company. When you start an IT company, it is going to make an a difference in your life, okay? It is going to make a difference in the future that is coming. You need a company, all right? You need a company. You don't just you don't just need a job. You need a company. You need a company, and I'm here to tell you. I have been sent to tell you, to tell you. So find a company name, register your company with the Registrar General. All right. Wherever you register in your country, register that name. Don't take it lightly. Register that name. Open a corporate bank account in that name. Register the domain name. Build a website. Get your card for business and get internet banking as well for your online transactions and get started. Get started and get started. One of the things God called me to do is to be an apostle in technology. I'm here not just a teacher, but to give you an instruction that you have to make a difference in tech. You have to rise in tech. You have to build a company, and this company is going to be like this rocket you see on your screen. It is going to take off. It's not going to be easy, but you can build a company, and tomorrow you are going to own a company because the world is changing. The future is coming. Greater things are coming. The world is going to be different, and you need a company. You need a company, and you are going to thrive with a company. All right. So let's get into module 2. And in module 2, today is day 6. We'll be ending module 2 tomorrow. Tomorrow will be all about HTML and CSS, and we are going to build a few web pages with hard code just to put something online for all of us to see. So in this particular class, the goal in that class tomorrow, the goal is to learn how to put something online. So we'll build simple web pages. In the process, we'll just learn some basic HTML and CSS. After the webmaster class, we'll have a whole web development course that every tech professional needs to understand HTML and CSS and JavaScript. We are going to do that. But tomorrow, we are going to get an introduction to HTML and CSS, and we are going to put something online. Today, we'll conclude the lessons on the server, and we will do some practical things. So yesterday, we actually talked about a number of companies, and we've seen where we can host things, we've seen prices, we've seen features. And today I'm going to start by talking about the Web Host Manager, okay? Web Host Manager. Please put that in the chat for me. Web Host Manager is called the WHM. The WHM. I'm going to tell you all about WHM. WHM. Now, before we get into WHM, I have some few videos I want to play. If you watch my hardware video, you realize that from a long time, this is how I teach. Okay, sometimes I find some videos that will help me say what I want to say. And please, the hardware videos, there are 12 videos in that course. So we've only shared 2 of them. So please study all of them. Find time and study. All right. It will help you understand computer hardware. It will let you understand important things you need to understand, and it's the same knowledge you need to understand about servers and build upon in networking and a whole lot. So find time, go through those studies, and make sure you finish all of the 12, and more will be coming today. All right. So I'm going to play the videos now. So let me just share my screen, and we'll get right into the videos.
Hi, my name is Natalie, and I'm one of the people you talk to when you call us here at Bluehost. Nowadays, most of us use the internet all the time, but lots of us still don't really know how it works. Well, knowing how websites work makes getting online a lot easier. So in this video, we go over the basics of what websites are made of, where websites are stored, and how websites get from where they are to your computer. So first off, websites are really not that complicated. It's true, good websites can take a lot of time, money, and talent to create, but at the end of the day, every website out there is just a bunch of files just like you have on your computer at home. Websites are made of content like pictures, graphics, music, movies, text, and so on. But there is one part that's unique. All websites include computer code written in a programming language called HTML. If you aren't familiar with programming, this code may not look pretty, but the web browser on your computer loves it. See, your browser is designed to use this code to stitch all those files together into a website you can see on your screen. So think of these files as pieces of a puzzle and think of the code like instructions on how to solve it. Now, all these files and the code need a place to be stored. After all, just like music or pictures on your computer at home, website files take up space. Well, that's where this comes in. This is a web hosting server. Well, it's an old one anyway that we used to use here at Bluehost. It may not look like it, but servers like these are just super powerful computers. They look a little different than what most of us have at home. There's no mouse or keyboard, and there's no display. But that's because these computers have just one purpose, and that is to serve as a place for websites to be stored and accessed. So these computers are called servers, not so much because of what they are, but more because of what they do: serve data. They just have a lot of extra hard drives and processors and take a lot more power to run. And they're flat. That's so we can stack them. Here at Bluehost, we have more than 1,000 of these in our data center. Now lastly, how do websites stored on these servers get to your computer at home? Well, when you look up a website, you open up a browser, type in the website or domain name, and press enter, right? Well, after that, behind the scenes, your computer goes online to find the server where that particular website is stored by using what's called the domain name system, or DNS. See, a server, just like a building, has an address. The DNS maintains a list of which websites are on which servers and then tells your computer where they are. So think of a DNS as like a phone book for websites. Once your computer finds the server, it connects, gets the files and HTML code, and then your browser puts it all together into a website that you can see and use. So that's it. I hope this helps explain a little bit about how websites work. This was just a very basic overview, so if you want to learn more, don't worry. We're doing several more in-depth videos soon. Just make sure to follow us so you don't miss them.
There was no out-of-the-box solution that provided what we wanted. We set the standard for a lot of it. We build it in-house, we customize it in-house. That gives us the control to rapidly address any sort of hardware issues or upgrade needs because we stock everything that we need to maintain and upgrade our servers in-house.
Everything we do is pretty much open source. We want open source because we've got the power to make changes. We don't have to wait on a vendor to decide, oh, this is important enough to us that we'll integrate it into the code. We say, no, this is important to us now. This is important to our customers.
There are some huge advantages to shared hosting if you can get it from the right company. If you can get it from a company that allows you to install your own software, that allows secure shell access and some of these other nice things that Bluehost totally does, then all of a sudden you have a platform that someone else takes care of.
We do monitoring on a lot of different scales. I mean, we look for active problems on the box, but we also proactively look for patterns that suggest that trouble is coming so that the customers aren't affected by a new hack coming down the line.
And that, again, just gives us much more control over the environment to give a better experience to our end users.
Our shared hosting really is a tremendous deal, even for people that have the ability to run their own servers.
A dedicated customer does not share the hardware with any other customers.
It's like having your own server right at home. Nobody else gets to play with your machine.
So with other providers, you might sign up and you get a notification maybe half an hour or a couple hours later that says your machine's ready. With us, you can actually start using it right away.
We actually install a hypervisor on any one of our dedicated machines, and that's actually what our customers are getting.
In traditional environments that use a hypervisor, part of the memory that you're purchasing is actually used by your hypervisor, whereas in our environment, we add additional memory that's not allocated to customers to run the hypervisor environment, so you're not losing out on anything that you paid for.
One of the things that we allow you to do is to actually manage your box. We give you the console, there's interfaces to start, stop, shut down, whatever you'd like to do.
While we give you dedicated hardware, you do not have to worry about maintaining that hardware. When problems happen, when things fail, it happens under the hood, you don't see it, we take care of it. You just keep running.
We're large enough that we can already have VPSs spun up ahead of time. When you want a VPS, chances are good we've got the VPS that's exactly right for you already set to go.
We use OpenStack, which allows us to run a private cloud in our data center. We can install operating systems, we can migrate things from here to there, we can make sure all of our capacity is used real time without operator intervention.
One of the key ideas around the term cloud is the idea of elasticity in resources.
You can add processors, you can add memory, you can even add disk space, and it's as easy as pushing a button.
When you want it, you got it, it's immediate, it's elastic.
We have a terrific SAN product here. It's one that we built on our own. It's designed to be fast as fast can be. If you run a benchmark, you'll see that it's extraordinarily fast storage.
When a customer writes to disk, we've got some caching layers in between the customer's storage and our SAN that allows that write to go through instantaneously.
No one else has this type of persistent, fast, scalable, partitioned storage. And it's all built on open source technology. And so as a result, we don't have to charge the prices that everyone else does.
All right. So yesterday we were introduced to some companies that we can partner with when it comes to web hosting. With web hosting, you are not supposed to set up your hosting on just any server. You need trusted servers that have enough resources to keep your website up and provide the uptime you need. So we saw companies like Bluehost, an amazing company. We saw iWeb that has been rebranded as LeadsWeb. I talked about Host9. Host9 has been my reseller provider for decades. I mean, more than a decade. And the platform I'm even going to show you today is from Host9. And SiteGround also provides reseller hosting. So for all of these companies, you are going to see what we recommend them for. For HostGator, it's also recommended for shared and reseller. For A2 hosting, for reseller hosting. Reseller Club for reseller hosting. So these are companies that can help you get servers that will provide your customers the uptime they need to keep their websites up and running. We also mentioned Cloudflare, an amazing technology that allows your website to be supercharged, provides security, provides a whole lot of features to make your website much, much better. Once we build our website, we are going to supercharge them with Cloudflare, and we are going to enjoy several benefits such as free SSL with Cloudflare. All right. Now, when it comes to web hosting, anytime you encounter choosing between the operating system of your server, you should always go for Linux because Linux is the most popular operating system for web servers. Since Linux-based hosting is more popular, it has more features web designers expect. So unless you have websites that need specific Windows application, Linux is a preferred choice. All right. And if you manage websites for a while, you are going to be used to how the tools we use. And all these tools, if you ever choose a Windows server, you are going to realize that all the tools you are used to are not there. The tools we use in the industry are not there. So when it comes to servers, please, you go for Linux for your web servers. All right. So we talked all about, all right, so let's continue. Now, there is an application called WHM. WHM stands for the Web Host Manager. This application is given to anyone who has a reseller account. If you have a reseller account, this means you are able to resell hosting or create hosting for customers. To create hosting, there is a tool we use to create hosting. I'm introducing that tool to you. That tool is called Web Host Manager. Only someone who has access to a server with the rights and privileges to set up hosting has access to WHM. WHM is not supposed to be accessible to just anyone, but the person who has a server with the right to host a website on that server. So when a server is set up, this application is installed on the server, and access to that application is given to the web host manager, the person who has the power to create a hosting account. So when you start your hosting business, you are going to use Web Host Manager. This is one of the tools you'll be using because this is what we use to set up hosting for our clients. It is a web application that provides administrative control of your reseller hosting accounts. You can also install it on your VPS. You can also install it on your dedicated server. This means if you have a VPS or dedicated server, you can install WHM on it, either by yourself or you contact support and ask the support from your hosting provider to install WHM for you. When WHM is installed on your dedicated server, this means you can create additional websites, you can host additional websites. And here we are not even talking about add-on, we are talking about creating real hosting accounts that are called shared hosting accounts. Now, WHM is used to create individual accounts, manage hosting features, and perform basic maintenance. Now, what I'm going to do right now is to teach you how to access your WHM. Teach you how to access your WHM. So my job here is to introduce you to this tool and teach you how to access it. Now, I want us to find a website and look for the IP address of the website. And through the IP address, we will try accessing the WHM. Listen to me. When it comes to managing servers, we usually work directly through the IP address. We work directly through the IP address. Okay? And so with the IP address, you have access to the server. Let me repeat that. The IP address represents the IP of the server. The IP address represents the IP of the server. And so once we want to manage the server, we need the IP to manage it. The second very important thing I'm going to tell you is that most of the services that are provided by your server operates from different port numbers. I'm going to repeat that because this is going to be the most important thing we will learn today. Most of the services provided by your web server are operated through different port numbers. So once you have the IP address of a server, you need to know the port number of the service or the application you are looking for. What I'm going to tell you now is the port number we use to access WHM on the server. So if you have an IP address of a server, you can access that port number and most likely WHM is going to launch. So the port number for WHM, I'm going to say it and I want you to keep it in mind because this is what you are going to use throughout your career when it comes to server management. If you deal with this tool on a server called WHM, the port number is 2086. Please put that in the chat. WHM port number 2086. And we are going to be talking about several port numbers And we don't want you to confuse a port number of one application with a port number of another. WHM is 2086. Now, sometimes we access WHM over SSL. Sometimes we access WHM over SSL. If WHM is accessed over SSL, the port number changes to 2087. Please keep this in mind. As a technical person, these are things you keep in mind. Those in cybersecurity, those in networking, you remember protocols, you remember port numbers. When they ask you what is the port number of WHM, you should know. What is the port number of cPanel? You should know. There are port numbers for a lot of protocols that we use on servers. So the first set of port numbers we've talked about will help us access WHM. All right. So this is what we are going to do now. Let's just go online and let's find any website and let's see if that website will allow us to access their WHM. I will be showing you the WHM provided that to me by my reseller company. And I'll tell you something very important because a reseller company can give you a customized version of their WHM. And the amazing company I was working with, Host9, they actually built a customized WHM. But I want to show you the normal WHM. So let me go to host my DNS.net. And under DNS, we have several records. All these are various records of DNS. So I'm going to type a website here. I'm thinking which website I should type. Okay. Now, to set up hosting account, servers that have WHM installed are the servers that we set up the hosting accounts on. Let me check this one. Supposed to use a very specific server for this demonstration, but let's see if, okay. So these people, yeah, WHM is probably on it. Let me try 2086 and see. Alisa Hotel. All right. So this is what I'm showing you. Okay, please, have you seen this? Please, can you see this? All right. Good. So what you are seeing, this is how to access your server if you want to create a hosting account. This particular application or this particular port that we have accessed, if you are not a webmaster, you may never come here. And even if you're a webmaster, you should be a webmaster who has the right to host a website. This means that whenever you buy a dedicated server or VPS or reseller hosting, WHM must be installed on your server for you. If WHM is not installed on the server, then you will request for it to be installed. And then they are going to give you access to WHM. So not every website will have WHM because probably the website is on a dedicated IP or the website is not on a server that has WHM, but the server that you will use for hosting has WHM. This is why it was difficult finding. Now, the company I am using, they have a customized WHM, and so this is why I didn't use mine to demonstrate it. All right. So if I had used mine, we would have gotten to it straight away. But then I wanted to tell you that any server at all, once you hit the right port, you are going to access WHM. So the only reason why I will not be able to enter in is because I don't have the credentials. This is the server of one of the hotels in Ghana called Alisa Hotel. and I just found their IP and I opened to this port. So with this particular port, this application has opened. So as you study, you are going to discover that there are other ports and other applications on the server. If I had a username and password and I could log in, what it means is that I can create a hosting account on their server. All right. Now, over here, this is where I will be creating hosting account for you today. The hosting account I'm going to create for you for one person right now. What is going to do? So this is WHM in a different customized interface from my company called Host9. All right. So this is not what you'll be seeing most of the time. This is what you'll be seeing most of the time. And when you log in, you will see WHM logo and all the tools, most of the tools and the links you see here. We are going to see all of that. So once you start managing the server, you will see all of these things. The first time you get your server, the first thing you have to create is to create packages. You create packages, and these packages, you use it to sell your hosting. Anytime you are creating a hosting account, you need to choose which package you want to give to which website that you are setting up. So before you sell, you come to packages and create the packages. Under packages, what you do is that you indicate the resources you want to give. For example, watch this. Over here, we have package options. So you'll be seeing this in the WHM environment. This means that I want to sell a package. I can give my package a name. For example, when we went to some of the websites yesterday, you saw the packages they had. They had one called Starter, and they gave you the amount of this space they want to sell. All right. So what you saw on Bluehost yesterday, this is where we set it up for your company, because once you have a reseller account, you are like Bluehost. So you create your packages and you sell your packages. Now, I can choose to call my package any name at all. I can call it Starter. Starter, you put your web company there and then you say Starter or whatever name, please. You can create silver, bronze, gold, whatever name you want to give. The important thing are the features, all right, not the name, but you can choose any nice name. Then the disk space. If I type in megabytes 1000, what it means is that anybody who buys my starter package will get 1000 megabytes as their disk space. So customers who buy hosting from you, they are limited to the features or the specification that was given through the package they bought. I can have another package that I give 5 gigabytes. Now, I'm able to give packages because when I bought my server, I was giving, let's say, 200 or 500 gigabytes to sell. So, for example, if I come up here, I can see that, look at the, okay, so right now, I have 85 gigabytes to sell. I can sell up to 85 gigabytes. All right. Now I will create packages. Some I'll sell 1 gigabyte. Some I will sell 5 gig, some 10 gigabytes. Now, even if you sell 10 gigabytes, it doesn't mean 10 gigabytes will leave your server. All right. It means your client has up to 10 gigabytes to use. All right. And let me show you that websites do not use a lot of resources. I just terminated some websites this morning. If not, you would have seen that one particular website that has been on this server for more than 7 years has used a lot of resources. So far, this website has used up to just 4 gigabytes after being on the server for more than 7 years or more than 5 years. So it has used just 4 gigabytes. This website has used just 1 gigabyte. This website has used 500 meg. So websites don't usually use a lot of space, okay? So they don't use a lot of space. And actually, I have another one where most of the real websites are on. So this one, usually I use it for demos and things. All right. So once you have this to sell, so this is my reseller account, you can sell and allocate space, allocate bandwidth, allocate bandwidth, allocate the bandwidth. So this bandwidth, I think we've been talking about for about 3 days now. Who can explain what bandwidth is? All right, so we have server space. Then this space here is your server space. Then we also have the server bandwidth. The bandwidth you give refers to the amount of bandwidth your client can use in a month. This means that if they overuse their bandwidth, then they cannot use their website in that month unless it renews the next month. So once you set up a bandwidth, what happens is that it is used per month. And anytime you see bandwidth on any hosting package, you'll see that the amount of bandwidth you give will be per month. So please, I don't want you to do any research. I just want you to tell me what you know. So who can tell us what bandwidth is? If you can, please raise your hand. Let me call you so that you tell us what bandwidth is, because you are going to be hearing it more and more. All right. So what is bandwidth? Bandwidth, 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 broadband, bandwidth. What is bandwidth? Anybody? All right. So let me just give you some general idea of bandwidth, and with time it will become much clearer. All right. So whenever you are selling hosting, you provide disk space. The disk space refers to the space for storage. This means that when your client keeps loading images, keep loading files, keep loading audio on their account, their server, all right, their server, they should watch their limits. Even their emails and their databases will be using the same space. So the more mails they get, they use the same space. So disk space has nothing to do with bandwidth. The space talks about the available space they have to store. You know, web hosting is all about providing space for websites. So on the server, the space you give them is called their disk space. But when we say bandwidth, listen to what this means. Bernardine says the maximum amount of data over an internet connection. The maximum amount of data over an internet connection. All right. That is it. All right. But let me explain it this way. Now, the server you are giving to your client, listen carefully. Anytime a visitor of their website requests any information from the server, what you have to understand is that the server releases the data they are asking for. So if the clients or any of their visitors visit their About Us page on their website, listen carefully. On the About Us page, there are images, there are photos, there are banners, there's a logo, there is text. All that data will leave the server. This means the server will serve and provide that amount of data. Okay? Maybe the data the server provided them was 1 kilobyte. No problem. Okay? Now, if there are 1,000 visitors that day onto the website and they all open to About Us, this means that the server has served 1 kilobyte to 1,000 people that day. If within the month 100,000 people have visited that website and they have all requested for About Us, this means that within the month, the server has supplied 1 kilobyte to 100,000 people. If you put all that together, it is going to be 1 kilobyte times 100,000. If you do that math, it's going to be about 100 megabytes. So that month, the website has served 100 megabytes of data. Now, when you talk about bandwidth in networking, in IT, in internet connection, it refers to the amount of data that is being transferred between the server and the client. Between the server and the client. It has nothing to do with the space on the server. It has everything to do with the data we are exchanging. What this means is that the bandwidth that you provide over here will refer to the amount of space or the amount of data the server can serve in a month. If the website is fast, it means the website has been well optimized. Their images are smaller, so everything loads faster, so they don't use a lot of bandwidth. But if all the images are not optimized and they are heavy, it means the website will be slow, and it means a lot of data will come from the server. What this means is that if there's an image that is 5 megabytes, just one photo, 5 megabytes, the server is going to serve 5 megabytes of data to every visitor. We tech people, this is how we see things. This is how we think. So the server is going to serve 5 megabytes of that photo to everyone. But that same 5 megabyte photo can be reduced to 30 KB when optimized. When optimized. When optimized. All right. So once you build a website, you need to do image optimization before later on you do your search engine optimization. So your server doesn't have to serve heavy files to your visitors. That way, it is slow to load your website and you use a lot of bandwidth. Now, the bandwidth that the server has, if it is consumed within the month, it means that the server can no longer serve data. So when we are creating hosting accounts, we tell them that this package has this amount of bandwidth. Now, look at the amount of bandwidth I have. I have over 1.5 terabytes of bandwidth. That's a lot. This month, I told you this server is not busy, so it's just five that is here. So I can give whatever I want, okay? Whatever I want. And if I want to give them unlimited, all I have to do is to type unlimited. So yesterday you saw on Bluehost, they said bandwidth is unmetered. This means you don't have any bandwidth issue. However, if you are buying hosting from somewhere and they tell you that your bandwidth is 5,000 meg, this means that in the month, if your server supplies 5,000 megabytes of data, the server has done its job for the month. It won't serve again. All right. Does this make sense? I just want 10% understanding. Do you get this at least 10%? Is there anyone here who understands this? A little bit, a little bit. I just want 10%. All right. So once you have this, then what is going to happen is that you are going to be building upon it, okay? And you'll be learning this in networking, in cloud, and a whole lot. All right, please. I don't want to spend too much time here. So when I'm creating a hosting account with my WHM, this is my WHM, I create a package, I create a space, I create a bandwidth, and then over here, all these things, I'll leave them. If I want to install any software, I can install these, but I'm not going to install any software for this. They can install it themselves. Then the cPanel I'm giving them. So you see that when you create this, you are actually giving them cPanel. So I can choose a theme of the cPanel, the appearance. So we'll be seeing cPanel next. Then over here, on this side, watch this. This is where I determine how many add-ons I give you. You see, I told you that if you manage a reseller account, you are like Bluehost yourself. I can give this website 0 add-ons. This means that the starter package that I'm selling, you don't have add-ons. Okay? I have the power because I have the server. I can choose the add-ons I give you. Or you have one add-on or two or unlimited add-ons. Wow, today it's hard to see unlimited add-ons. I have one of my servers, I have unlimited add-ons. This means that I can add as many websites as I want. If I want to host all of Africa, I can do that. Then we have packed domain. We talked about packed domain in the domain class. I just mentioned it and I told you that you can pack several domains to one website. Packed domains, I can give how many packed domains you can create, how many subdomains. These things, they are usually unlimited. Subdomains, you create subdomains for free. Okay, so subdomain is not like add-on because subdomain will reside on that same hosting account with the same domain name. But add-on domain means you can use a different domain name to create another domain. I told you that when you create subdomain, you can host a new website on the subdomain, all right. But a subdomain is a sub of the master domain that is used to set up the account. After I show you the packages, I'm just showing you packages now, then I'll show you how to create a hosting account if you have a reseller account. Now, you can see that you need to provide the MySQL database they can create. These days, we don't really limit databases. You can create as many databases you want. You can create FTP accounts. You can create emails. Once you set up a hosting account, you also have an email server. You can create emails. So I can tell my client that, okay, good, I'm giving you only 5 emails. So what it means is that you can only create 5 emails for your staff. But emails, usually we don't limit them. So create emails for everyone. So long as when they use their mails, it will fall within the space I'm allocating. So in this particular package, the most important asset is the space here. Because once I give them the space, they can keep using all the other features up to that space. All right, so what I'm showing you is how to set up the packages of your hosting business account, your reseller account. Now, I want one person to put their domain name in the chat and we'll go ahead and create a hosting account. All that I'm doing here, you are going to do it in WHM, but my WHM looks like this now. Your WHM will not look like this. Your WHM will look like this, but mine looks like this. Okay. All right. So did you get a sea life boat? Okay. Wow. That's a beautiful name. Wow. Okay. So let's use my WHM to create a hosting account. So let me come to hosting management. You see, so here I can create a hosting account right now. I can view an existing account. I can modify an account. I can suspend account. This is what happens when your client do not pay for their hosting. You go to suspend. When it's time and they have not paid, you choose their website address. You choose their website address. For example, this particular website, let me see if there's something still on it. I'm just checking if something still exists on it. It's a very old website. I don't know if the client still has something on it. I don't think so. Why is it delaying? All right. I don't have the time to wait. I wanted to let it load, then we will suspend it and you'll see how it looks like when a website is suspended. Okay, let's see moniwalodge.com. moniwalodge.com. moneywarlodge.com. All right. So this particular account, I set it up for somebody who used it to create a website for another person. So I believe my server is what is hosting this website now. I believe. To check it, let's suspend them and see. So if the client has not paid, you choose the action. And this is what will happen to you if you also don't pay for your reseller account. Your provider will do this to you. They will suspend you. So you see, I'm using host 9, so the domain has been suspended. So in the next few minutes, if I am the one hosting this website, what should happen is that their website should go off. See what has happened? The first thing was that their database has been cut. So right now, in the whole world, nobody can visit this website. Their domain is still working, but their hosting has expired. They have not paid. It's just an example, okay? So when I refresh this again, what is going to happen is that first we have a database error. They have been cut from the database. After some few minutes, this is what is happening now. I've taken down a website now. They didn't even install SSL. I didn't design this site, okay? Look at what is happening. This is what I've done to a company right now. And you can do this because you have the power to do it because you are the one hosting them. So right now, it is true right now that this server I have is what is controlling this website you just saw. All right. So what I can do now is to unsuspend them. So let me unsuspend them. And after a while, what will happen is that they will come back. So when they pay, this is what you do. So in your WHM, you have the power to shut down a website. You have the power to upgrade the website. You can change the password, even deny the owners from logging on to their site. You can control their quota, as in the space, the disk space they have. You can control their bandwidth. And this is the killer feature here. What do you see here? Terminate an account. With this one, if you ever go here, it means you are taking the website off the internet or off the server. If I go to terminate, I've not suspended. Suspension is a punishment, but it's a light punishment. It means that you have a chance to come back. So I'm asking for payment. So you are suspended. The grace period has expired. You have not made your payment to the company, but we are paying for our reseller because in the reseller, you'll be paying for your reseller, but your clients also need to pay. If their time is up, their grace period is up, you can suspend them. But the day you choose to terminate them, it means that they are going to be off your server and they are going to lose all their data with your company. They are going to lose all their data with your company. Their emails will be wiped off. Their backup will be wiped. Everything they have, their website files will be wiped. Their databases will be wiped. Everything they have on your server will be wiped. So what I'm showing you here is a powerful tool called WHM that is used to set up hosting. All right. So I don't understand your question, Bernardine. I don't understand. Can these features be set up automatically without having to keep checking? Which features are you talking about? All right. So let me create the sea lifeboat and let's see. Wow, sea lifeboat. That's a nice thing. So let's see. So here, I just want to create a new hosting account. Okay. Oh, okay. You know, these particular actions, they are deliberate actions. So you have to do them. And so you will come across another tool that can also monitor your clients for you, let you know when it's time for payment and all that. We have a customer service tool. Now, in that tool, it's possible to configure certain things to be done automatically. However, in your WHM, you have to come and take action yourself. All right. So over here, let's do clifeboats.com. All right. clifeboats.com. And over here, I'm going to give them username. All right. Now, anytime you get a hosting done by you, for you, you are going to be provided a number of information. Anytime a company hosts your website for you, they are going to provide you with some information. First will be the domain name, which you already gave them. But second, they are going to give you the IP address of their server. Third, they are going to give you the username of the server of your hosting account. Listen again, the username of your hosting account, then the password of your hosting account. With the username and password, you can log on to your cPanel. So what I'm doing now, I am creating a cPanel for someone. I'm creating shared hosting for someone. Now, usually the username should be the first 8 characters of the domain name. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then here, I will use any one of my admin emails. All right. So I have an email I use, webfatherservices@gmail.com, or I can use any mail that I want to use it to receive information from this. So any mail at all. Okay, just put it here. Then here you need to create a password for the website. Please know what is happening here. Right now, I am setting up hosting for a website. So the password I'm going to give them is what they will use to manage their website. So let me create a password that you can change in your cPanel once you log on. So let's create a password right now, and let's go to Notepad and create a password, and we'll come here. So let's say my new hosts at 247. Okay, so this is the password I'm going to use. So I come here and then I paste it here. I paste it here to confirm. Then over here, I choose a location. One thing about Host9, Host9 is so powerful. Watch this. Watch this. I don't know why they stopped this company. Watch this. There was a time I had more than 200 websites on this particular account. Watch this. If you look at the IP addresses of the websites I have created on this server, watch this. They are all giving different IP addresses. Look at them. This doesn't happen. This means that when I set up a hosting account for you, you can get a different IP address depending on the location I put you. Let me tell you what is happening here. 99% of your reseller accounts, the IP of the server is the same IP for all your clients. Everybody uses the same IP because you are using one server. Host9 is a powerful company. Look at what they are doing. They are allowing me to use more than 10 servers in US Central, 10 servers in UK Berkshire, 10 servers in US West, 10 servers in US East, and I'm just saying 10, probably more. 10 servers in Asia, 10 servers in Amsterdam, 10 servers in Toronto, Canada, 10 servers in Hong Kong, 10 servers in Sydney. This means that the hosting I am giving you now, I can choose where to put you. If I put you at US Central, there are more than 10 servers in US. I am going to put you, let me explain this thing again. I don't know why they stopped this camp. That's why this particular reseller account that I got from Host9 has been amazing. All right. So here I am not having any ordinary reseller account that uses one IP. So when something happens to the IP, every customer is affected. Here, I have more than 100 IPs, and any customer I create gets their own IP. This means they are on a different server. This will not happen most of the time. So most of the hosting you will get, and this is the reason why I've been with Host9 for so many years. I've been with this company more than 15 years. All right. Now, the package I am selling, I have created the packages here. Different packages. I have economy, I have unlimited, I have different packages, deluxe, I have master 5 gig, I have different packages, different packages. So over here, let me choose master 5 gig, and that particular package has a lot of good things in it. It has a lot of good things in it. So I'm done. When I click here now, the hosting account is being created by Host9 server. So I'm creating hosting right now, and I'm done. Now, once I'm done creating the hosting, I'll give these details to my customer. I'll provide them with these details. This is all you need. FTP, let me add it. This is all you need. So the details I've copied here, I'm supposed to send to my client. So I tell you the hosting you bought. Okay, later I'll look at hosting pricing. So this is what you are getting. You have your IP, you have your name servers. You see, I will give you name servers because you don't know my server. After setting up the hosting, I give you name servers. So whoever owns this domain needs to go to their domain.com account now and change their name servers to this. Because listen, hosting has been set up on a server for you. Your domain was registered at domain.com. Usually domains are registered somewhere. Even if you buy from the same company, your domain is usually registered somewhere, your hosting is somewhere, but you need to join them together. What do we use to join domains together? And I'm showing this to you practically. What do we use to join domains and hosting together? Who can tell me? What do we use to connect the domain to a hosting server? What do we use to connect a domain to a hosting server? No, not add-on. It's called name server. All right. So I mentioned that this name server, we are going to be talking about it because without name server, you can never use your domain. Your website will not work. So this C Live bot, if you go there right now, it is not yet connected to the server I have set it up on. It is not yet connected. For it to connect, you need to use this and you begin your DNS propagation. So DNS is a subject that we need to delve into. With time, you'll learn more about DNS. The primary function of DNS is to connect a human readable name to a server IP. So this is the IP of your server. Instead of typing this IP to visit your website, you type this. Now, you are able to visit the website with this because this has been connected to the server through the NS record. DNS is like a database with several records or several fields of information. We have the A record, we have the NS record, we have the MX record. The A record is where we have the IP address of the server. NS is where we have the name servers. So whoever this domain belongs to, please go to your domain.com, look for where to change name servers and use the name servers you see on the screen. And to make this easier, anyone who has registered their domain, don't wait for this. Go ahead and change your name servers now because I'll be giving all of you the same name servers. And the name servers I give you, what is going to happen is that you are going to change it on your domain anyway, and you don't have to wait. You can change your name servers the first day you register the domain so that your domain will be waiting to connect. So the moment the hosting is set up, then it will connect. Now, when a domain connects to a server, let me show you how it looks like. That is if it has been changed. Then the propagation begins. If you have changed it and you don't see it, it means you are waiting for propagation. Propagation can finish anytime. So with what we are seeing now, what we are seeing is called domain parking. I told you that if you buy a domain name and you have not yet changed your name servers, GoDaddy will pack your domain onto one of their pages. GoDaddy didn't design this page just for you. Today, all the thousands of domains that are registered with GoDaddy, they will all come to this same page. There's a variable here that will just display their domain to them. So this is called domain parking, and it has SSL on it, HTTPS. All right. Later, you learn how to read SSL. You can look for the certificate and you can see the certificate. The certificate is valid and you can see the certificate. And this certificate was provided by GoDaddy. It was issued by GoDaddy. So GoDaddy is a certificate authority. You can see over here. GoDaddy issued this certificate. All right. And as you study cybersecurity, you'll be studying more about encryptions and the type of certificates that are used and the certificates details and all that. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Let us move on. Okay. All right. Now, if you have changed and you are still seeing this, it means it is propagating. You just have to wait. You just have to wait. So anytime you register your domain name, if you know the server you are going to use already, go ahead and use the name servers, because if you don't, it's going to point to the name servers of your registrar. And once you change, it will take time to point to yours. But we don't even have to wait for it to point. We can go to the server straight. And this leads me to my next topic. Now that I've taught you about WHM, the only thing I said is to tell you what WHM is. It's called a Web Host Manager. We need to set up hosting accounts. The second thing I said was to tell you the port number of WHM, which is 2086 and 2087 over SSL. With a hosting account created with WHM, you can manage the hosting account using another tool called cPanel. Please put cPanel in the chat for me. Small c, capital P, and ANEL in lowercase. cPanel. So if you are a webmaster, you don't have to wait for a domain to connect to a server. Once the hosting has been done, you can go ahead and connect to the server straight, because you do not need the domain to access the server. And as a matter of fact, we don't access the server with the domain name. You can, but that is not what technical people do. Technical people access their domain name with the IP address of their server. So now that we know the IP, all we need to know is the port number to cPanel, then the credentials, and we are in. Now, what is cPanel? cPanel is a web hosting control panel software developed by a company called cPanel LLC. It provides a graphical interface and automation tools designed to simplify the process of hosting a website. It enables website administration through a standard web browser. This means that this is an amazing software that you can access through a web browser using the IP and the port number, and you can use it to manage your website. You don't use it to create websites. You don't use it to create hosting accounts unless the package gave you add-ons. Then you can use this to do add-ons. If not, what is going to happen is that you use this to manage your own website. Now, the port number of cPanel is 2082. Please put this in the chat. It will not change. It has been the same for more than almost 30 years now. It's always going to be like that. And in tech, you are going to be questioned about the port numbers of servers. So next time when I ask you what is the port number of WHM, you shouldn't wait. What's the port number of cPanel? You shouldn't wait. Now that you know the port number, that is all you need. If cPanel is accessed via SSL, then the port number adds 1 to it. The same way WHM added 1 from 2086 to 2087, cPanel will also add 1 when it is also accessing a secure port. The same applies to FTP. We'll talk about FTP. FTP also has its port number, and FTP over SSL or TLS or security also adds 1 to it. Now, I'm going to ask someone in this class who is really following and is really smart. I'm not going to tell you how to access cPanel, but with the information we are seeing on the screen and the owner of this, after this class, please change your password, okay? Watch this. Who can tell me how to access cPanel using the information you see on the screen? Tell me how to access. Which URL am I going to use? I see people typing. I'm looking for someone who is really paying attention because these are practical things you are going to do. And right from now, you are going to do hands-on and you are going to give us feedback. You are going to give us feedback of what you are learning. Feedback of what you are learning. I want to see who will get it. Okay, so Phoebe got it. Let's clap for Phoebe. Let's clap for Phoebe. Phoebe, you are amazing. All right. So Phoebe says we should copy the IP address. Now that we have a targeted server, copy the IP address, go to your web browser. You paste the IP or type it. Then colon. She also gave us a colon, and we type 2082. You can go ahead and type 2082. If it has SSL, it will redirect by itself. Or you can type 2083. So right now, with 2082, you have your cPanel here. All right. cPanel on its own can come with SSL. But what you need to do is to put 2082. If it comes with SSL, you will see 2083. All right. This does not mean that your website is not having SSL because the SSL is given to different domains. All right. Now, the only thing preventing us from managing this particular website will be the credentials. Thankfully, we have the credentials to this particular web server. So we copy the username, we paste it here, we copy the password, we paste it here, and voila, login successful. So now we have been introduced to what is called cPanel. This is the interface of cPanel. This is what cPanel looks like, and this is where we manage our web server. The first thing you'll be managing will be the emails on your web server. In our emails class, we'll spend time talking about email configuration. Your server allows you to manage emails. Apart from that, your server allows you to manage files. We have what is called a file manager. Images, directory privacy, disk usage, web disk, FTP account, amazing. All these things are things you should have on your fingertips. How to do backups, how to set up Git, all of this. So this is your file server. This is where you manage your files. All the files that make up your website or any website on this server, this is where you manage it. After I talk a little bit about cPanel, we'll be going into the file manager, and we are going to do a lot of things over there. If not today, by tomorrow. And I'm hoping that by tomorrow, we should be able to access the domain should connect. So whoever owns this domain name, please make sure your name server has been changed so that we wait for propagation. When I'm done teaching, I'll check if it has connected. If it has not connected, we just wait. All you have to do is to wait. Hopefully by tomorrow, we'll have access to it. Okay. We have FTP, we have FTP connections, we have backup. If you want to do your backup, this is where you do your backup. So interesting. And we should, tomorrow, please remind me, we should do backup and data migration, okay? We should be able to migrate data from one server to a new server. So please remind me that we'll do backup tomorrow after we build websites and put up websites, all right? So tomorrow will be Wednesday. Tomorrow we'll go through HTML and CSS to build web pages and build a simple website, not our main web design class, but a simple website just to know how to put something on a server. Now a server is ready. Now hosting, the domain has been connected. I believe Jael has done that. And what it will be next is for you to put something on it. So we'll look at how to put something on it. We'll look at how it looks when there's nothing on it. And we'll look at how it looks when we put something on it. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be so interesting. I can't wait for that. Also, you have access to your databases. This is where you manage your databases. So if you are a webmaster, database management is something you do every day. And so you are going to be using a database language we call MySQL. Please put that in the chat for me. MySQL, 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 or MySQL, MySQL. Look at how it looks. Type it that way, MySQL. That is it. MySQL is also a database management system built on the same language of SQL. This is why every tech professional should learn the language called SQL, structured query language. You have a great disadvantage if you don't know SQL. SQL is something you'll be using on a daily basis. Whether you are into data analytics, you are into data science, you are into software engineering, you are into whatever, cybersecurity, everybody needs SQL. So in our root phase, we'll be spending some time talking about databases and SQL. On your web server, the database management system you use is called MySQL. MySQL. I'm happy you have put it in the chat. Very, very interesting. So this is where you set up databases. This website we have set up now, if we want to create a database, this is where we create it. When I go here now, I will be able to create a database. So I can come here, see Lifeboat. I can give it database. I can create an admin DB. So when I create this, this becomes the database. And if you know anything about databases, once you create it, you need to come and create who should have access to it. So you create users with a username and a password. The password, you can generate a strong password with a password generator. Because database should be highly secure, you use a strong password. Once you land on the password you want to use, you copy it. Make sure you've saved it somewhere. You tell it you've copied, you use it, and then it gives you strong. Then you create it. After you create it, you need to bind it. You need to connect it to the account. You need to bind this user to the database. Okay. Since we don't have any users, we can't do that now. But in our training, we'll be doing that. So this is where databases are. So if you're a webmaster, it means you've been working with databases throughout, right? And you will be. Now, after you create a database, you manage it with a tool called PHP My Admin. Please type this in the chat. If you ever do anything about web development, you are going to be using phpMyAdmin. Please put this in the chat for me. phpMyAdmin. Type it exactly the same way. phpMyAdmin. If you ever be in the web industry, you are going to use this tool called phpMyAdmin. This is what we use to manage our databases. phpMyAdmin. You create a database with MySQL and you manage it with phpMyAdmin. So you can find all of them in your cPanel. When I go to phpMyAdmin, it's another application on its own. It's going to open and it's going to allow me to manage my databases. So far, we have no database created yet. So we have nothing to manage. If we did, we are going to see the databases here. So it works with the same SQL. And here you can write SQL code. Wow, this is amazing. So if you have a website, this is where you do your database management. You set up the database and its privileges in the MySQL database management system. Then this is where you have the data itself. This is where the data is. If you're a data analyst, this is where you'll be finding your data. If you're a webmaster, this is where you'll be finding your data. All right, let's move on. Apart from that, we have domain section. So under domains, now they have put everything under domains. But at first, we had subdomains separate, we had add-on domains separate, but now they put all of them under domains because they are all domains. So as for subdomain, you have the ability to create a subdomain. So if you have an ability to create add-on, you can still type it. If you have ability to create, so the accounts we are going to use will not have the ability to create add-ons, but you can create subdomains, okay? So you can create any subdomain here. So let's say blog.cliveboat.com. All right, this is a subdomain. Previously, we had a separate section for subdomain, but now you have to create it yourself by just typing it. And this is where we create add-ons as well. The only difference is whether you have add-on right or not. So when I click on submit, then it will create this domain for me. This is an add-on domain, and we can put a new website on the add-on domain. So later, when the time comes, we'll be creating add-on domains. Or later, when I ask you to create add-on domains for your second project, you know where to create your add-on domains. Now, we have this metrics here that allows you to check what is happening on your website, the analytics of your website, the visitors you have, errors, and other issues. But then we are going to power our website with a more advanced analytics tool called Google Analytics. Please put that in the chat for me. Google Analytics. All right. So Google Analytics will monitor a lot of things for us. But then still you can get to know your bandwidth, the bandwidth you have used. You'll get some information with the tools over here. Google Analytics. Thank you. Analytics. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, man. You guys are amazing. Then when it comes to security, this server I just created allows you to SSH into your server. You can use SSH to connect to your server using a tool called Putty or any other tool for SSH. Then you can install your SSL here. This is where we do SSL installation. So if you buy any SSL, you can install it over here and the website will have SSL. However, we can also do SSL through Cloudflare and other methods as well. Then you can also do software installation on your server using this area called software. And there's a tool called Softaclos. Please put this in the chat for me, Softaclos. So with Softaclos, we can install a whole lot of applications. Softaclos, please put Softaclos in the chat for me. You can install a whole lot of applications with Softaclos. One of the applications we will be installing for our webmaster class with WordPress is a software called WordPress. With WordPress, we can build world-class websites with no coding experience. This is where the secret lies. And this is why in a matter of less than 10 days, you can learn how to build world-class websites because you are going to build with WordPress. And after that, everyone here can build websites. So with here, you can see all the apps in Softaclass you can use. If you want to upgrade your PHP, you can upgrade your PHP over here. You can also view your PHP editor over here. PHP is another programming language, an amazing one, usually for creating web applications. And it is one of the languages you are very likely to learn. Here, you can change your cPanel password. So the owner of this account after this class, you can come here and change your password. And Softaclass, we can access some of his software over here. And I'm done with my cPanel presentation. Now, what I've told you about cPanel is what it is. This is what you use to manage your website. All right, manage your website. After the break, I think I'll come back to cPanel and I'll take you to the file manager. Then after that, we'll talk about FTP and we'll begin to wrap up. Today, what I have showed you is real and is something that is giving you the real tools we use on the field. So as you manage websites for some time, automatically you are going to be used to all the tools in your cPanel with time and with effort. All right, so there's more to learn in File Manager and FTP. After the break, we will get into that. So for now, thank you for staying up 2 hours with me. For me, when I'm teaching, I don't get tired, but I think about you. So I'm going to give you a 10-minute break and we will meet after the break. All right, so welcome back from the break. Welcome back from the break. And today we've been looking at the WHM, the Web Host Manager, and we have learned how to create a web hosting account. So we all did that together. We created a hosting account, and the hosting account we created was a shared hosting account, and we were able to log on to that same hosting account through its cPanel, and that is where the account will be managed from. Right now, we want to go back quickly to the cPanel, and what we are going to do is to look at the file manager. To look at the file manager. Before we do that, let's quickly look at what FTP is. So in the cPanel, we saw most of the tools. I told you that subdomain was separated, add-on domain was separated. So previously, this was the interface of cPanel. So you see subdomains, you see add-ons, and this is where you do your redirection. Today, you have your redirection still there. You can redirect a name to another name. These are real things. These are practical things that we do on the field. So you can do all of them now in the domains section. And I told you what a subdomain is and how to create one. And tomorrow, remind me to take you through a simple data backup and migration so you know how to back up. You'll be doing this when you start working a company. You'll be doing this in your own company. You'll be doing this for your clients. So you need to know how to back up data. And we've also talked about databases, and we'll have a database class. And you can't be a tech person without learning about databases. And there are several database management systems out there. MySQL is very popular for web servers. So most web servers have MySQL on it. And we have database management systems like SQL Server, which is also very popular, used in several companies, SQL Server. Then we have SQL Azure, also used on Microsoft Azure. Then we have SQLite, usually used for mobile apps. So when you build mobile apps, the database of your mobile app, usually you use SQLite for it. Then we have Oracle database. Please type Oracle database for me. And, I've had times when I taught beginners, and what I mean by beginners, I'm talking about computer illiterates. I'm not talking about tech beginners. And most of the time when they hear Oracle, and I ask them, what is Oracle? Some of them will tell me that it's in Nigerian movies, Nollywood movies, and they'll be explaining strange things. In tech, Oracle is a company, all right, one of the most successful companies that's is shoulder to shoulder Microsoft, Oracle. And Oracle has been so successful and has been the leader in what we call relational database management system and the Java programming language. So they have been behind databases itself, databases as we know it. Oracle has been behind it. So today, Oracle databases are one of the most secure and advanced databases and database management systems in the world. Most banks rely on Oracle for database management. So in tech, you'll be hearing database, Oracle databases. Then we also have SQL, PostgreSQL, and it's also a database management system. So you need to have the fundamentals of databases, and you need to have the understanding of the language called SQL. Very, very important. Very, very important. Very, very important. Yes, you will need it. And if you're a webmaster, you'll be writing SQL code every day, so you are going to be used to it. And after working for so many, many years, SQL is something that is nothing, and it will be on your fingertips. It's one of the easiest languages to learn, actually. All right. Now, we've seen MySQL, and I've also mentioned PHPMyAdmin. And PHPMyAdmin is what we use to manage the MySQL database in the cPanel. And I want to talk about FTP. What is FTP? Who can tell me what FTP is? What is FTP? What does it stand for? What does it stand for? FTP. It's also a protocol. So I can see a lot of people typing. And the first person says that FTP stands for File Transfer Protocol. All right, before we talk about FTP, what is HTTP? What does HTTP stand for? What does HTTP stand for? What does HTTP stand for? HTTP, the first person says that HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Thank you, Bernardine. Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So HTTP is a protocol that transfers files or transfers requests between a web browser and a web server. So the communication that exists between a web browser and a web server is done through a protocol called FTP. Now, there is another protocol, it's done through a protocol called HTTP. The communication between a web browser and a web server is done through a protocol called HTTP. There's also another protocol called FTP, and this is a special protocol that doesn't just transfer requests. With this protocol, we transfer files. That's why it is the File Transfer Protocol. And the File Transfer Protocol, FTP, is a standard network protocol used to transfer files from a client computer to a remote computer or a server. Sometimes we call the client computer localhost. Please type localhost in the chat for me. Type localhost in the chat for me. Localhost. So we transfer files from a local host or a local computer or a client computer to a remote server. If you have typed localhost, please type remote server for me. Remote server for me. All right, thank you. So your remote server talks about your server online, your web server, and your local server. Sometimes we also call it local server. Your local server is your computer, which is also called a client computer. Okay, so we have your client computer and your remote server. All right, so you can transfer files between your local computer and the remote server. Now, this is the protocol you are going to use to put your files online. Without FTP, you can't put your files online. All right, so that is why FTP is used to transfer files, because websites are just files. You transfer your files to your server using FTP, and it runs over TCP/IP connections. Now, an FTP server is a server that has an FTP address and is dedicated to receiving an FTP connection. The primary purpose of an FTP server is to allow users to upload and download files over an FTP protocol. It is a common solution used to facilitate remote data sharing over the internet. All right, so your server, your file server is also called the FTP server, and you can connect to it through FTP. When we were setting up the hosting account, you saw that you can create FTP accounts. This means how many users can you allow for them to connect to the server to transfer files. So we have unlimited FTP accounts. This means we can create unlimited accounts for users to transfer files to the server. Now, I'm going to take you through the file manager. And this file manager is found in cPanel, and it allows you to upload and download files from a server. Also using the FTP protocol, but through a web browser. You can browse the directories as well as copy, rename, move, create, and edit, etc. So after I talk about the file manager, I'll also talk about FTP software that we can use. It is not all the time that we use the file manager. We can use FTP to connect to your server through other software called FTP client software, and we can do that. So in your cPanel, you have a tool called File Manager. Please, can you see this here? Can you see what I have highlighted? What is it? What do you see? Okay. All right, File Manager. Now, this File Manager is the tool that allows you to manage your files. You can create an FTP account for anyone who is not the manager of this website. Now, this cPanel account, only the website administrator should have this. The account here is not for employees. The account here is not for the staff members. The account here is for the tech person who will be managing the website. And if you have a client, your client may not ask for this because they can't manage this. So you manage this for your clients. All right, so let's go to File Manager, and File Manager will show us all the files. Tomorrow, when we are ready to put something online, this is where we will come. This is how File Manager looks like, and for now, I have a few directories over here. The reason why we came here right now is for us to see the directories in the File Manager. So we have a directory called etc. Maybe later I'll mention it. We have a directory called logs where your logs are stored. We have a very powerful directory called mail. Please type mail in the chat for me. This directory. Type it in the chat for me. Mail. Powerful. Now, this server that we have created for this domain, listen, it has the ability to create emails. All the emails that will ever be transacted on this server will be stored in this folder. And this is where you learn that emails are files. When you send an email, it goes as a file. This is where the email will be stored. So later, if I want to back up a server and I want to make sure I back up the mails, I need to back up this folder because this is where all their mails are stored. The reason why we came here was to talk about a very special directory here. Please type this directory in the chat for me, this one that I have highlighted. Type it the same way in the chat, starting with public. Type it in the chat for me. All right. Thank you, Nyampandi. It's been a long time since I heard your voice. Maybe tomorrow I'm going to allow you to speak. I want to hear your voice. Now, listen. All these directories you see, they are inaccessible by visitors of your website, or they are behind the access limits of the web. This means nobody can just come into any of these directories like that. Or these directories are private. Let me just put it that way for now. Please listen to me. Out of these directories, there's one of them that is public. The public directory I'm going to show you is a directory that is open to the domain name. This means that this is another very important thing. When people visit your website, that is where they land. The name of that directory is this. The directory is called public HTML. This is a window to the world. From this web server, and as far as web servers are concerned, this folder is where the world exists. What this means is that anything that I want to publish for the world to see, I need to drop in this directory. This directory is the window to the web. This is the web on your server. If you want to upload your website, listen to me, and you don't drop it in the public HTML folder, it has not gone to the web. This is a common directory, but it is a window to the web. So I can click here to open it, and you can see that there's only one directory called CGI bin. Tomorrow, when we come back here and we see that the domain name has connected, see Lifeboat. If it has connected, we are going to see that directory on it. Sometimes, if you have loaded a website a number of times and it has been loading onto an older page, you can reload it by adding a dot here. Only webmasters do this. You type the domain name and another dot, and it will reload it. So if I want to really check, okay, so it has started. I'm sure the name service has changed, so it is still propagating. It hasn't connected yet. So what you are seeing, keep this page in mind. This is how a page looks like when the domain is registered, but it is not yet connected to a server. This is what you should see. Later, when it connects, I'm going to show you another page, and I'm going to tell you that that page I'll show you will be how it looks like when a domain finally connects to a server. Then I'll show you the third page after we put something there. Then I'll show you what you should see when something is on the server. Right now, nothing is on it. The only thing we have is just one directory called the CGI bin. So this is where the world lives. After it connects, you will see what will happen. Anything we drop here can be accessed through the browser. Anything we drop here will go to the web straight. So this is why I brought you here, and this is why we came to File Manager to see and to pour this directory, a very powerful directory called the public HTML. That is the window to the web on your server. So anytime you come to your File Manager, you go straight to this. Now, when you create an add-on, the add-on will appear outside here as a domain. If it is an add-on, it will not have a second public HTML. If it's a subdomain, it will also appear here. Tomorrow we'll create a subdomain, you'll see. Please remind me. When you click on it, you will see that it doesn't have a second public. And so if it is another domain, then it is already public because it has been made public. And it can be accessed through that domain. But when the main domain, Sea Life Boat, is accessed, it's going to land in public HTML because that is a directory to the web. All right. So we have seen what the file manager is. We've seen cPanel. And the public HTML is a directory on web servers that stores all HTML files and other web content to be viewed online. When visiting a website on the web, each page loads directly from the public HTML directory. All right. So this is important. And this is good information. All right. The next thing I'm going to show you will be FTP client software. Please type FTP client software. So I use FTP client software every day. This software allows you to do file transfer much faster and much easier than the file manager. So we have popular software created specifically for file transfer. So an FTP client is a software designed to transfer files back and forth between a computer and a web server over the internet. It needs to be installed on your computer locally, and you can use it with a live internet connection to connect to a server. So the most popular and most secure FTP client is called WinSCP. It stands for Windows Secure Control Panel. So please download WinSCP. WinSCP. You can try WinSCP for Mac and see if you get it, if you will get it. But look at the logo. The logo will tell you that you have the right thing. If you don't get WinSCP for Mac, you can try Mac SCP and see. But then it is called WinSCP. So all of you using Windows, by tomorrow, install this WinSCP. If you don't get WinSCP, because WinSCP was built specifically for Windows, you can use FileZilla. So the Mac users, you can use FileZilla if you are not getting WinSCP or Mac SCP. Because WinSCP allows you to SSH into your server, allows you to use PuTTY, allows you to connect to a dedicated server, allows you to manage a VPS and all that. It's very powerful. Now, FileZilla is another FTP client. And a third one is also called Core FTP. All of these are FTP clients that can be used to make a website run or to transfer files online. Now, when we are done designing tomorrow, we will use a file manager and we also use a WinSCP. And I'll teach you how to connect to a server using a third-party software called an FTP client software. So this is where we end our presentation. What we have learned today is so valuable, and I believe you have taken something from it. Tomorrow, have your WinSCP installed. If you don't get WinSCP for Mac, install FileZilla because we have FileZilla for Mac, most definitely. So these are the FTP software, and the FTP software works like the file manager, and we use an FTP account to access it. I'll show you. We can use a main username and password to access it. And once we access it, we can see all the files. You know, a website is not only made up of files. A website is made up of files and databases. There are some websites, they also come with databases. So the database will be in MySQL, and then the files will be in WinSCP. All right, class. thank you very much. If you have any question, please ask your question. If not, thank you so much. And I pray for strength, Bernardine. Thank you. Thank you. And let's keep learning. For me, I just want to tell you that we have to learn. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn. And moving forward, we are going to get feedback from you. We are going to let you do things. We are going to let you show us what you have learned. And the website you'll be building, you are going to be presenting your website. All right. So when it comes to building websites, you are going to be presenting your site as well. So tomorrow we are going to build a simple website that you'll be presenting. And when we get to the specialization phase, we are going to have our training with class learning and practical projects. We are going to be treating the training as if you are at work. This is very important because you are going to use that to build field experience, and you are going to have understanding as if you are at work. And you are going to work on real projects that will give you the experience, because the experience you need to get a job and the certifications as well. So we are going to achieve all of that in specialization. Please, let's learn so that by the time your time comes, you will be ready to get the biggest job and to do great businesses and a whole lot. Thank you so much, and I'm gonna see you tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. So much value we are getting each and every single day. Thank you, Sir Darlington, for taking your time to explain these concepts to us. We appreciate it. Thank you all for actively participating. And so, yes, we continue tomorrow, God willing. Please note that the hardware lessons are on Slack. So check your email for the notification to join the new channel, which is the hardware lessons channel. And then we have uploaded 2 videos. So the rest will be uploaded as we move on. There are 12 videos in all, and you're supposed to go through it and then also take quizzes on that as well. So please take note of that and start scheduling your time to watch the videos, okay? And then you have until now to Thursday to register your domain names. If you've not done that, please do that. As you can see, we are delving into more serious stuff. Please do your best to register and get your domain names, and then please send it to support@retailafrica.com if you've not done that. Once you register, please send it to support@retailafrica.com. Tomorrow, we are having our Industry Expert session at 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. So please take note of that. We are meeting tomorrow, an hour after our class, to have our combined session. So please come prepared. And it's a packed day tomorrow. Okay, on that note, this is where we bring our lesson to a close. Thank you all so much. Bernardine has been operating on what, 100%. And lots of information, I know. You're all doing well. Let's keep up, and let's get the best out of this. Thank you all so much. And then I'll see you tomorrow. God willing, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, everyone. Bye, everyone.